Hey everyone, welcome to this lesson on editing photos in Adobe Photoshop. So this is what you'll see if you open up a raw image within Photoshop. It pops up this dialog box and it says Camera Raw 7.0, or maybe it has a newer version. But you basically have a lot of the same options that you do in Lightroom. So as over here on the right, you have the basic same things. So you have color temperature that makes your image warmer or cooler, tint, which makes it more magenta or green. You can also type in a number over here on the right if you want to go that route. Exposure, again, simply blasting the exposure of the entire image or darkening it. You can change the contrast, so make it a little contrasty. Highlights, boost the highlights or drop the highlights. Boost the shadows, drop the shadows. I'm trying to make it a little bit more contrasty right here now. Clarity, especially for landscapes, this is good. If you are doing portraits, as I mentioned in the Lightroom lesson, you might want to go lower on clarity so that it softens the skin. Vibrance, this is a smart way of increasing the saturation of items in your shot that need saturation, whereas saturation will just boost the saturation of the entire image. So maybe we want it a little bit more saturated, and maybe we want it a little bit warmer. So something like that is pretty cool. Then under these different tabs, this is the basic, you have different things like the tone curve. So again, very similar to what you saw in Adobe Lightroom. The reason why this is not as good as Lightroom, I think, is because here you have to go one at a time through the photos and you can't really see what you're working on. With Adobe Lightroom, you have all these options and I can quickly go from photo to photo. With Lightroom, you can more easily copy settings that you've set for a specific photo to other photos. So for example, if I wanted these same settings, I can just press Command C or Control C. You can set or check all the things that you want to copy over, copy, and then say I go to a new photo and then press Command V to paste, and all of our settings are converted over to this new photo. And that's something that's a little bit more difficult to do in Photoshop. So again, you have your tone curve, you have your detail tab, which is sharpening. Now I'm just skimming over these, so go back to the Lightroom lessons if you haven't watched those, because I cover what all this is in that section and it pertains to this as well. And then basically the same options that you see in Lightroom with post-crop vignetting if you want to add a little vignette, and camera calibration, different presets and everything like that. And then once you're done, you can open the image, and that actually opens it up within Lightroom, or within Photoshop, excuse me, and that's where you can go on to do any other sort of photo manipulation or editing with the other Photoshop tools. But as you can see, you can actually edit photos within Adobe Photoshop. It's just not as efficient because say I want to go ahead and open another one, then I would do this, open with Photoshop, and it would open like this. And otherwise in Lightroom, it's already open. I can just scroll through my library and quickly go ahead and edit all the settings one after the other. So that is the basics of photo editing raw images in Photoshop. In the next video, I'll show you what you can do in terms of photo editing with JPEG images, because that dialog box doesn't pop up with all of the options that you see in Lightroom with you're just editing JPEG images. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.